Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. One of the most highly anticipated films of the year is the latest adaptation of Frank Herbert's classic novel, Dune. Writer-director Denis Villeneuve brings Herbert's world to life in a really breathtaking and jaw-dropping fashion. It will be in theaters and streaming on HBO Max October 22nd, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies. The planet of Arrakis is beautiful when the sun is low. Its rich commodity, known as the spice, is coveted by all. There are spice harvesters at night, and sandworms that test nefarious wanderers. And without the spice, interstellar space travel is impossible. So there's this intergalactic battle for anyone who wants to get their hands on the spice. A war battles on for control of the planet and its remaining inhabitants, known as the Fremen people. Their only hope comes from an unlikely hero, the young Paul Atreides, played by Timothée Chalamet. He's the son of royalty under Duke Leto and Lady Jessica, played by Oscar Isaac and Rebecca Ferguson, and he's spent many years training to fulfill his destiny. This rich ensemble also includes Zendaya, Stellan Skarsgård, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, and Dave Bautista. Now, there have been many adaptations of Frank Herbert's novel before, most notably David Lynch's version, which has certainly garnered its own reactions from fans. And Denis Villeneuve, the visionary behind Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, considers himself a really passionate fan of the material and set out to make a faithful adaptation of Herbert's world. And from the first frame, you'll notice the intricate detail and care that Villeneuve and his creative team have taken with every aspect of this film. I mean, this really feels more in line with the Lord of the Rings movies than the CGI-heavy Marvel movies. The practical set pieces and the cinematography by Greg Fraser give the film this really lush artistry that feels lived in, and part of the world building that's just so necessary for visualizing Frank Herbert's novel. It's bleak and dark, and you feel that heat rising with the sand and the spice. Villeneuve makes it engaging for the audience, having us look beyond the frame for even more. There's a sense of dread early on thanks to Hans Zimmer's score that drives so much of this film. It's one of his greatest scores, and it really feels like a work of art on its own, on top of complementing the story that's on the screen. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Bob Morgan and Jacqueline West's exquisite costumes. They provide utility and structure for some and depict the class and the wealth of others. It's hard not to get just swept up in all of the visuals that Denis Villeneuve excels at when he's got this creative team that's just firing on all cylinders. The story is layered and complicated, but one that is forced to move at a brisk pace. Some of this may get lost on some Dune first-timers, given that there's just so much going on at any given moment. Denis Villeneuve has a really great cast, all given moments to shine. Timothée Chalamet makes for a really great unlikely hero that Paul is. And we believe in him, but know that it's going to be this arduous journey with high stakes for him to prove that he's the heir that he's meant to be. I love the brotherly bond that forms between him and Jason Momoa's character Duncan. As Paul's parents, there's a really endearing moments between Oscar Isaac and Rebecca Ferguson. And what would a film like this be like without a fantastic villain? Stellan Skarsgård thrives in the role of the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. He's buried under prosthetics, oozing up really grotesque greed and evil. Dune is the kind of cinematic experience that comes along so rarely and really demands to be seen on the big screen. And while it is streaming on HBO Max, I encourage you to go to a theater if you feel comfortable. You may just need to see it a few times. It's being billed as a part 1, and you'll just get swept up in all of the artistry and the world building that Denis Villeneuve just thrives at as a director. But I suspect that more of the story and the emotional weight will come in the second part. I'm giving Dune Part 1 4.5 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I got to interview Denis Villeneuve, Rebecca Ferguson, and Stellan Skarsgård, so you'll definitely want to check out those interviews. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip, and then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Dune. This is Paul's trip to the movies.